Oh, what's up, guys? Just shaving. Gotta bring this everywhere you go. It really works. So, what's up, guys? I'm here today to give you some boxing fan talk. That's right, a boxing fan I am. Yeah, recent videos I see I'm putting out are like, whoa. The boxing talk really gets people pumped up. A lot of controversy, a lot of people calling each other bad names and bad things all over a sport. It's unfortunate, but let's talk, real boxing talk. So I'm going over this article here. I'm looking at this. Canelo looking to KO hypocrite Golovkin. How is Golovkin a hypocrite? Anyway, a lot of people are making good points because former world champion, Canelo Alvarez, 49, 1, 2, and 34 KOs. He hosted a Los Angeles media event, a workout event. And I'm going through the comments, and some people are literally saying under the video, how is this guy even making Triple G the bad guy? You know, he's making himself the victim. The guy got caught twice, I read. Whether he knew he had something in his body or not, the guy was on some stuff. And Triple G, in return, says he wants to knock out liar Canelo. It's getting ugly. Canelo says that the respect we both once had for each other, it'll be hard to regain. And he also went on, I'm just paraphrasing, I'm going through this. He went on to say that this is Canelo, that he is not a Mexican style fighter. In other words, he has his own style. There's no Mexican style. He has his own style. In other words, he's going to run. All right. And I know that's controversial. Look, he's a good fighter. He's a good boxer. Canelo is a good boxer. But the fact that he's taking on a much older fighter, once again, he's fighting a guy who is way beyond his prime. Triple G is no longer in his 20s. He's, in fact, in his mid-30s now, right? And Canelo is only 28. And he's fighting a guy way past his prime. I talked about this already in prior fights, right? Prior predictions with Triple G now. With Canelo, he's age 36. Triple G is 36 years old now. And like I said it all before going into the first fight, I believe Triple G won the fight. Most boxing experts, most people that intelligently know boxing and they don't let their vision get blurred by who they are a fan of, will tell you that Triple G won the fight. So they're double dipping here. I predicted this. I predicted this before. I said it all before. And the fight played out much like I thought. And I said Triple G would not be permitted to win the fight. I said this all before the fight happened, and it was a draw, of course, so he wasn't given that win, which he deserved. And this draw is bogus. It's a double dip. There's tons of people making a lot of money off of Canelo Alvarez in Las Vegas. He's more marketable there. Regardless of how much of a drama show Triple G puts on, there's not going to be too much drama shows left. He's 36 years old, guys, so we're seeing probably the last of Triple G being at the top, being dominant like this. And I'm a fan of him, yeah, sure. But it's just a fact. At 36 years old, there's not too much big fights left in him at the top. For Canelo, he's only 28. There's a lot. There's a lot more left. Can you imagine how many more big, giant, billion-dollar revenue-generating events could go down? Star power. They make him out to be this big star. They put him in there with older fighters. They keep winning. They keep milking. And they keep double dipping, so to speak. Because Canelo already lost. Canelo Alvarez is a huge attraction for Vegas for obvious reasons. And for him to lose would be devastating to not only De La Hoya, but to a lot of venues in Vegas, to a lot of people, because he's that big name that they made, a big name they created, and there's no longer a Floyd Mayweather, and there's these giant events around like Cinco de Mayo, and Canelo Alvarez is making crazy millions for a lot of people. Why would they have Triple G come in there and win? Why would they let him win that first fight? But now everybody's watching. It's under a microscope now. There's a lot of money riding on this, and if you don't know by now, boxing is totally corrupt. Boxing is corrupt. I am quite sure, allegedly I'll say, that people are being paid off. Teddy Atlas went into this in detail, and it's unbelievable. He said a lot of these things, and look, he's not even ringside anymore, right? Boxing is totally corrupt, and people are being paid. People are making a lot of money, and for Canelo to win is insurance on many more paydays for many years. So now here we go again. They're hoping for a 36-year-old to fade. They're hoping off the Jacobs fight where Jacobs is an amazing fighter. That type of guy does not get knocked out in 1 round, 2 rounds. And for anybody to say Triple G didn't look great in that fight, taking on a Daniel Jacobs, who was a champion in his own right and a great fighter, and not look great, he knocked Jacobs down, is crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. You're brainwashed that Triple G should have went in there and knocked out Jacobs. So maybe the Canelo team and De La Hoya, the whole bunch of them, thought that Triple G was fading, and they were wrong, weren't they? So Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, very controversial fight, and the second fight, could it be a lot different? I think that Triple G is going to really put on the pressure early, and I think Canelo is going to fight the same way. He's going to go backwards because that's his best fight, unless he, obviously, if he hurts Triple G, then he's got to try to get him out of there, take a lot more chances. But I think that he's going to go off the back foot. He's going to be getting pressured a lot, and not much of that will change. And I think that he's going to look for counters and big mistakes by Triple G and hope that he turns 36 and hope he gets older that night. And in the big scheme of things, we got a 28-year-old fighter fighting a 36-year-old fighter. That's a big age difference. Most boxers fade at 33, 34, 35. Most of them. It's just outside of anomalies like Bernard Hopkins. Floyd Mayweather didn't take a lot of damage. He had a style where he can get away with a lot of things he was doing. And Triple G is a much bigger guy than Mayweather. You cannot even compare it. And it's a lot different. But if the Triple G showed up in the first fight, he should definitely win this fight. It's going to be a lot harder. And I said psychologically, I'm making the point here that Canelo has an issue. Because if he knew he was on something, it's going to cause psychological issues. Because he's going to think, hey, I'm not on something now, so I'm fighting this beast that was giving me so much problems in the first fight, and he probably beat me. He's probably thinking this. Sports psychologists are there for a reason. So that's a big factor too. So he's going to have to prove to himself, Canelo, that he can hurt Triple G or win these rounds and do some damage and really escape Triple G's power and escape what looks like Triple G controlling the fight for many rounds to get his confidence back up somehow in this fight. It's going to be very difficult, but 36 years old provides some type of an unknown factor there, because Triple G's aging rapidly. In boxing, 36 years old is very old. It's a sport where age comes into play. I mean, you can't get around it. It's not like a painter. I always said it's a lot harder, and it's unfair for boxers to retire, because think about it, all your life, like Roy Jones, I'll use as an example. Roy Jones, all his life, Roy Jones Jr. is this dominant elite athlete. All of a sudden he gets knocked out, he starts getting older, and then you're telling him you can't make your living anymore at what you love to do. That's like telling an artist to put down the paintbrush when he turned 33, 34. It's crazy, right? So psychologically, that's damaging to someone. I'm no professional therapist, even though I did take Psychology 101. I did very well in this in college. But yeah, seriously, it's got to be a factor. Like a musician can keep recording, and an artist can keep being an artist, an actor can keep being an actor, you know, for the most part. Now, so, hey, you're 33 years old, you got to quit. Because that's what we're asking our professional athletes to do. In boxing specifically, we're telling them you cannot fight anymore. Can you imagine? You're just this mega star, you're knocking people out, and you got a competition in you, and you love painting pictures with your ring generalship or whatever your style is, and you like that feeling, that rush, because a lot of fighters love that, and you're taking that away from them. Not you specifically, you know what I mean. Age is taking that away from them. That skill, what they once had, that power, that speed, that flash, that pizzazz, and then they get forgotten about. It's true, before the social media age kicked in, a lot of fighters like Pernell Whitaker, they're forgotten about, essentially. A lot of people don't know who they are anymore, unless you're a crazy boxing fan. And that's unfortunate. So that's what you're looking at. So Triple G is getting to that level where, of course, he won't be forgotten about. This is different. He's in the era of the social media. So he can parlay all his fame and everything else into something else, of course. And he has that right to. But, it's unfortunate that a guy that got caught cheating is trying to push off some type of... I'm looking. Where's the lying at? Why is Triple G such a bad guy here? Why? He won the fight, and he didn't get busted using steroids or pads or whatever. I also want to touch on while I'm here about Beltran. Beltran was just a slight favorite to retain his belt against Jose Pedraza. I was going to actually do a video on this, and then I went to my other channel. I went out, I got some coffee, flew back to New York, had some coffee with a friend, caught up that I didn't see in months because I was gone for several months. That's how I do. I get out of town and I leave. And then I was like, okay, let me make this boxing prediction for tonight's fight. So I'm going to get into what I was talking about after the fight. Yeah, the obvious is here. But I just want to talk about what happened with Beltran. Beltran was a slight favorite. Beltran, very good fighter, Ray Beltran. I hope he got his green card all sorted out because he definitely won a title. He had a special skill. He lived in Arizona most of his life, right? When he was 16, he moved to Arizona. I would say, let's say half of his life. Let's just break it down like that. And, you know, the man deserves a good life wherever he wants to live, and he deserves the green card. So let's hope he got that all sorted away with everything, because I know they did a documentary on him. So Beltran, Ray Beltran, one of those fighters that you just can't stop, like a Jose Luis Castillo, one of these warriors that blood and guts, you know, it's cliche, but you got to say it. He would just keep coming and coming and going, and he was made the favorite over Jose Pedraza. Jose Pedraza had the reach, very skilled fighter, and if he hits you enough, I was saying that before the fight, I was thinking it, if someone hits someone enough, because Beltran was like 37. Again, age is definitely a thing here. Beltran is an older guy, middle 30s, boxing. How long can he sustain that? So if my prediction was going to be talking about that, if he gets hit a lot, you know, anyone can go down or get knocked out. So don't be surprised if Beltran would have been stopped in that fight. He didn't get stopped, but he got dropped, and he lost the fight in Arizona, defending the title in front of his home town. So this is boxing. This is boxing, and unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult for him to get another title shot because of his age, right? But you never know. Opportunities might just pop up. Like with Pedraza, who lost, right? He had 2 fights in between, I believe. And then he came back and he won the title. And he was not the favorite from the odds makers anyway. You know, sometimes I wish those odds makers would get it wrong much more often. But that's another story. So the thing is, Beltran, unfortunately, he's out of the picture for now. And I don't know what he's planning on doing. I didn't read any articles or anything like that about what he's doing. It's now like 2 days later. So Pedraza got the title, and Beltran definitely, he's in line now. $1 million payday was possibly squandered or lost, let's say, because he didn't win the fight. And I'll tell you what, Beltran went for it. He was 37 years old in that going into the fight. And what is left for Beltran now? 35-21, 8 KO. He left his mark in boxing. His power with the left hook, he was just one of those fighters you gotta love, you gotta root for if you enjoy a good fight. A guy that just goes out there and gives it all. He's a warrior. So I really like Beltran, and I wish the best for him, and I hope something good happens here. I hope he gets another shot. And you never know with boxing. He might be a late replacement, and he might get a shot. Who knows? Nobody knows the future with that. So it doesn't look good, though. Lomachenko, let me just talk about this. I would have him as the favorite over Beltran, who's supposed to fight him if he won the fight. Lomachenko did get dropped. He did get dropped. It was a surprise to a lot of people when he got dropped in a wake-up call. Linares dropped him. I mean, that shows the man isn't like some invincible wizard. He could be dropped. Pedraza, will he hit him a couple times? Will he get lucky? Well, for me, there is no lucky punch. By the way, watching the fight with Beltran, I heard someone say it was a lucky punch. There was no lucky punch. It wasn't a lucky punch. Pedraza set it up. Beltran was walking into everything. I was saying to myself while I was watching the fight, you know, it's obvious that, hey, he's walking right in. He's going to get caught. I mean, that's not a lucky punch. What is this commentary nonsense? The guy walked into an uppercut. He was going after him, walking forward, putting the pressure on. You're going to take chances. You're going to get risk. And Pedraza's a good enough fighter where he set that punch up. He set it up. There was no lucky punch. You know? I mean, what is going on with these comments? I thought I heard a commentator say at ringside, that was a lucky punch when they were like watching the replays. No lucky punch. No lucky punches in boxing. Not really. It was set up. So, Lomachenko, Pedraza, I already know who's going to win that fight. I think Lomachenko's going to win this fight. I think he's going to really put on a good boxing show against another good boxer. So we have a great, with Lomachenko, I'll do an official prediction video on it, versus Pedraza, is a really good boxing match. A good boxer versus an incredible boxer. A greatness boxer. So Pedraza's going to really have to set something up and do what Linares did and try to catch him and work for the knockout. I don't see him winning a boxing match. I just don't. So, and if he would have fought Beltran, I thought, actually, to be honest, I thought he had more of a chance of beating Beltran, like in a quicker fashion, based on his style. You know, so the fight's gonna happen. We'll talk about the styles and that in a future video. All right, guys. So I'm out of here. I'm just gonna go on record again. GGG's coming into this fight, 36 years old. Will age be the factor? And will that be the cause? If Canelo wins this one, he actually beats him in the rematch, will it be because of age? You know, that's always like, it's kind of like a catch-22. It's always unfair, in my opinion, to bring that up when a guy looked good in his last fight. Triple G looked good in his last fight. If he looked like he was fading, then it wouldn't be so unfair, right? That's just me. Is that fair to say? So if Canelo somehow wins this fight, are people going to hold that against him? Oh, well, Triple G was 36. But no, because he looked good in his last fight. So to be fair, so if you Canelo fans that are still hanging with Canelo and you don't like anything said against Canelo, if you get this far in a video, I guess you would agree with me on that. It would be unfair because GGG looked good in his last fights to say that Canelo won the fight because Triple G got old on that night. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll be back soon, and I'll make some more talk on GGG versus Canelo going into the fight. So many seeking power like the Game of Thrones. Planets are revolving around all your homes while you're staring in your phones. Some stay chasing that 15 minutes of fame in the social media game. Time is gonna pour water all over that flame. The earth life dims fast. Pretty soon we'll all be ghosts in the past. Some of us will be asking why couldn't it last? The sea is only so deep. The hourglass ain't